Hello and welcome to Community Chats. I'm Ali Hammer, and today we're joined with Jackie Bish, the Chief Digital and Information Officer at PwC. Jackie, welcome to the show as both a partner in the financial services consulting practice at PwC and the Chief Digital and Information Officer. You hold a dual remit. So can you give us some insights into what digitization means for you at PwC?
Thanks, Ali, for having me on the show. Love the variety of topics you've covered, and so thanks for having me today. So what does digitisation mean? Well, that's a really big question. And the way I look at it with PwC is the world is changing faster than ever and bringing the unimagined new challenges, but new opportunities. So wearing my consulting hat, it's really about looking at the world from many different angles, new ways of working, new approaches and new solutions for a new day. So thinking about the future of work and what does it mean, the work types, the workforce, the workplaces, and the integrated nature of all of those things. Digital acumen, digital literacy, and those digital communities, which I know is such a big passion of AWS as well as our own. And then trust in society and those data-driven decision-making concepts. And it's all encompassing in automation, shift left, artificial intelligence, and so much around both the ways of working, but then the approaches, agile, integrated solutions, and really about driving standardization in your operating model and the way you do your work. So, some would say standardization is your friend and complexity is your enemy. How do you bring that into the thoughts and the behaviors of your workforce? And then ultimately solutions. Those solutions are what brings digital into an organization. So human-led but tech-powered solutions is what it's all about. And I can go on for a long time around all the different options there, whether it's digital humans, digital twins, artificial intelligence, but it's how you think about those strategically to line up to your business strategy and bring the best of both digital and human into your organization. The other element I'd just touch on briefly is, as wearing my Chief Digital and Information Officer hat within the PwC firm, it's fundamentally about delivering those secure, tech-enabled services to enable all of our employees to really innovate, solve client problems, and really deliver those amazing digital experiences. So, we've got a great foundation in which to build upon. You start where you are and really mapping out your journey from where you are. And one of the backdrops of sort of really creating that ecosystem is getting the ground roots up and, forming what we call a people council or a technology people council who have been really instrumental in driving both the foresight in digital, the ways of working and that employee experience. So broad church, but hopefully that covered quite a bit for you.
Thanks, Jackie. So many different threads there. And I'm so interested in your digital skilling program and your digital communities, as you mentioned. So what mechanisms does PwC use to leverage skills across the globe, across lines of business, and also just for your customers?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And I think one of the things at the heart of PwC is really around the citizen-led. Everything is really how do we get the tools in the hands of all of our employees to do the best they can with those digital tools. And so, some of the examples that we have is a digital lab where people can go and create solutions and then share those assets, whether there's visualizations, automations, and ways in which to do the work. And that's really been built upon a program called our Digital Accelerators. So these people are across all of our lines of service and they're given the tools and the skills and the kit bag in order to move both their own skilling, but also that of the firm and really create a step change for the organisation. And we create these little communities. Like just recently, I created the Data Village within PwC Australia, which is a bringing together of all of our data experts in the firm. Think assurance, think financial advisory, think consulting, and all those brilliant minds that we have both in Australia and globally. And then we curate and share ideas and make sure that it's all really around collaboration and community. And then I couldn't go past without saying, skilling, whether it's deep tech skilling through, say, cloud certifications, or whether it's more the human-centered ways of working and interpretation. those things are really core and center to our strategy and to the evolution of making ourselves future fit employees and being ready for what's next.
Well, as the community lead at AWS, I just love all these communities and villages that you created. So it's really incredible. Well done. And earlier you mentioned the digital operation model. So I'm curious to understand what this means and the new delivery models within the cloud for you guys.
Yes, and thanks for that question. Now, I'm sometimes called a cloud nerd, and my experience with cloud started back in 2014 in financial services. And if I think back to those days, it was much more private clouds and all these overlays of security tooling, and it took you like 7-12 months to get anything stood up, like a platform stood up, before you deployed workloads. Fast forward 2017, public cloud is the norm. AWS has got all of those services integrated natively into its platform. And we're talking, 3 to 5 months to deploy a robust platform for highly protected workloads. 21, 22, we're talking weeks to deploy a fully fledged platform with all those services. So if I just take back those 3 horizons that I've personally been through, the operating model and what are the people, processes, tools, technology, and governance that's required within those different horizons was very different. And so my guidance to everybody that I talk to around cloud operating models is being really clear on what is your headquarters, what is the thing that you want to be known for? Is it adoption? Is it consumption? Is it secure by design? What are the things that are really going to stand you apart to get really accelerated delivery of your infrastructure or your platforms? And then it's also being conscious of the processes in order to build the memory muscle and that sort of digital spine in your organization so that you're continuing to evolve with the pace that companies like AWS are going at with all of their new cloud features. So, just top of mind is the service design processes, the workload placement processes, privacy by design, control self-assessments, and all of those things. So again, it's about the people, those humans, those roles that are in your target operating model, the processes that underpin a really mature and native public cloud platform, the tools, the technology, and then the governance to make sure you've got the right workloads in the right place, doing the right thing for the right time.
Jackie, thank you so much for sharing. And as we wrap up for today, are there any final thoughts that you'd like to share in your journey in the cloud?
Look, executive sponsorship and alignment, number one, got to get everyone to understand the why. Define and demonstrate that culture you desire. You as the leader need to demonstrate that culture, and then democratize as much as you can do within guardrails to keep the trains on the track at the end of the day. Our engineers are king, and we need to give them the tools, the capabilities to do fantastic work, but keeping those trains on the track. Keep learning, evolving, and adopting, and celebrate your successes. So again, the world is our oyster as we think about cloud operating models, digital acumen, but it's really making sure that we're not creating a digital divide, that we're really helping our whole society understand, work towards, and get the best use out of all these amazing technologies.
Jackie, thank you so much. It is such an honor to speak with you. I mean, the partnership between AWS and PwC is such a special one. We really value your input, and thank you so much. If anyone has any questions, please pop them in the comment section below and we'll get back to you. Thanks so much, Jackie.